everybody, come on in. I wish you could smell the kitchen. And it's nice and warm on this very cold day. When I woke up this morning and I go out to the chickens as soon as I got ready to get, and I put clothes on right away naturally. And I ran out. It was cold. It was poured rain all night, and there was this like wet, sleety stuff, something like snow. There's snow on all our mountains, but not down here. It was just really awful. I had this on, and we had to go out for groceries, and I put on another sweater, and oh boy, so we went and did that, visited Mom, and she's fine. And then we had lunch, and I just made some buns. Now I'm making, I used to do gluten-free, but I did go right off of grains, and it's very hard to find a bun recipe that is no starches and all this, because I don't like to buy store-bought ones that have a ton of starches in. But I do have a 1/4 cup of flaxseed and a 1/4 cup of chia seeds in my batter. I'll run and get them to show you if I don't trip over anything. Okay, let me take these over. I just took them out the oven. Oop, and it smells quite nice in here. But here they are. So I did 12, and I do them in these rings. And then I slit them in half and toast them. So that is my 1-a-day bread. So now I'll put them back, or I drop them on the floor because, oh my goodness. Okay, let's put them over here, out of sight. And I turn the oven off, and then I leave it on, and the orchids get some warmth for a while, so it's a gas stove. And the reason I decided to do a video today was because I had a major crash. Over in the north window by my piano, or my keyboard, I had on the floor one of my homemade misters. So it was a vase upside down, siliconed with a nice big bowl on the top to hold the water. And on top of that, you know, I do the strangest things. I put my basket with my orchids in. So it looked nice and everything, but it was watering day on Wednesday, and one of the orchids we're going to talk about had a terrible accident. And all these beautiful flowers, they fell off. Almost every one of them fell off. And Jack was in his workroom in the back there by the patio. And so here I have all these flowers, the ones that could be salvaged. And it was off of this one, and what happened was, and I'm not sure what happened, but what happened was, this is my only vase that's sitting on a very tiny little stand, because this was actually it has a hole in the bottom, and it was a candle stand. So your candle went here, and then this went on. And then you could wash the stand or whatever. But what happened was, I picked this up and the end stuck on it. But it didn't stick for long, and when I picked it up, the end fell on the big glass fountain I had, and it made the biggest crash. And then I dropped this, because I don't know how I did, but then I dropped this on the floor. It fell from this height to on the floor. There was broken glass and one awful noise, and Jack came running. He did help me clean it up, and that's what happened. So I thought, you know, maybe this is a good time to talk about what I feel and what I do with my spikes after they finish flowering or after they've had an accident. And this is what we're going to discuss. So in this little white container, I have cinnamon, and we're going to do a few orchids today. And these are my pruning scissors, and I have put them over my flame on my gas stove for a good minute or so. And then I put them somewhere else for a while so that they're not hot when I go to start and use them. So this orchid I got last fall. Oh, it was the big lip. I'm not sure of the day, but not too far back there'll be a big lip video. This is it. I was so happy when I found it. And how is it? The thing is, I could have took the flowers off right away. And a good way to tell is when you, and I always repot. This was in moss and I put it in bark right away that had been soaked in flaxseed and Kelly Magic for 3 days. So I don't normally have any buds drop, and none did drop. So it was healthy that way. But another thing is, if you have an orchid, you really want the main part of the plant to really thrive, and we've got growing season. It is, and I don't do it. I used to always do it. I don't anymore. I leave the flowers on and enjoy them because the flowers haven't dropped, and I figured the plant is in good shape. Now, because when it hit the floor, it fell out of the pot. And I looked at the roots, and here's another way to tell if you should leave that orchid on. The roots had not changed much from when I potted it. There was no sign of new green roots. And all its energy was going into this orchid flowers. Some people might say that's not true, but I have found over the years it is true. And besides that, this orchid had another spike that already flowered and they ended. And then it got a shoot and I still left it on. And so all the energy has been going into this and it hadn't started any real good root growth. So I said, Carolyn, you shouldn't have let it do that second spike that had branched off when the other one slipped. That's probably when I should have cut it. But either way, we are going to cut it at the base. And when you go to the base of your orchid, to cut the spike off, you've got usually the first little branching area where there's a little triangle shape, looks like a leaf. Now, usually you don't want to do under that. You're near the base. You don't want to get any infection into your plant. So you go above that, and I'll show you a close-up in a minute, and you cut it off. So I have this left over, and you can see where it had branched and where I'd cut off the old plant. Now, there's a hint to you guys. And, you know, we get greedy and we love seeing those flowers, but you can see them in a vase too. So I do not cut close to the media. I leave this that long. I'm going to show you where it is. You can see where I cut it. See if I turn it this way. Okay, now this is a real heavy crystal orchid vase. There's a little piece of bark there, and I'm taking it off so that it doesn't make it sit on level. There we go, and it does sit in there very good, but I have noticed when I pick my vases up, sometimes the saucer even just the plain saucer sticks, and then it can fall. So I have to make sure that that does not happen anymore. So the other thing you can do is, now we're heading into the growing season, and your orchids have been in bloom for months now. Mine have and still are, and there's still some coming. And since it was late December, so, and watering day was Wednesday, and the leaves are firm, but this one is a little limp, and they're quite split in the inside. Not from me, but usually this one is a split inside, this one has a split inside, the bottom one. Now this is its growing habitat. When it was growing in the nursery, it got unusual watering conditions and it decided to split. So now I'm going to take a little bit of cinnamon on my finger. I usually use a Q-tip. And I'm going to put some cinnamon just where I cut it, just to stop any bacteria that thinks it might get in there and I don't want it to. So now my orchid has nice clean bark. I put it back in the same bark, and it can start growing season, and I am not letting it have a spike. It's not healthy enough. I like lots of roots. If you get lots of roots, your plant will continue to grow really well, usually. So this is the first one we're going to do, and I'm going to move it so I don't knock it over, and I'll put it up here on the counter. So now, so that's the first one I'm doing. Now I want to show you. Now, if you like cutting yours back and you want to know where to cut it, say this was not a branch and it was your original orchid coming up and there was nothing here. You will look down below for another little piece like this. Now that is where a branching flower could come out, just like this is. You can see where it came out of the same thing. You can see that there. So when they say to cut back to that, you cut above this, and that encourages a flower to come out here. But if you're encouraging another flowering after what this orchid has been through, it's been through being moved out of its home in the nursery. It's been through traveling and ending up in a grocery store. And then I bring it home and I give it new conditions. And then what do? I change it from moss to bark. So really, under those conditions, it's a good idea to remove the whole spike, even though I don't do that anymore. But it's also a good idea to keep a good eye on it and really do not let it do this on its first year in your home. It needs all its energy to get established in your home. And then you can decide what you want to do. And I always look at my orchid and I say, is this orchid healthy enough to have another spike grow? So I'm just going to move this one out of the way so I don't trip on it, because we got a few to do. Now we got this one. And this is a sort of a same circumstance. So this flowered late last summer and was in flower for most of the fall. And I put it in this glass vase. It was the first glass vase I ever used, and it has done wonderful. And the root growth is really good all the way around. The leaves are healthy. The leaves are healthy. So looking at that, even though I don't normally like to do it, I thought, well, let's see, it's in the glass vase. Now, this is its spike. It came up from last year. I cut it off because it was finished. And then it set out this beautiful bloom right here. And it is beautiful. So here we are coming into the growing season, and I have to decide if I really want to leave this on. The plant is healthy, the roots are healthy, but what else is happening to this plant? Something else. Now it's a late bloomer, and it is blooming right there. It has a spike coming. It's a couple inches long. So, because I see that spike coming and it's going to be putting all its energy into that, and if I keep leaving the energy going into this old spike, the branch off of that spike, that is going to draw a lot of energy away from this new spike. And this plant has been in flower steady. And something else I want to say, if you're tempted to always leave your spike on, and you continue to do that for maybe 3 years, and you've kept letting it do this, you haven't cut any spikes off, you could, I'm not saying for sure, you could possibly send that plant on its last days, because that has been very hard on it. And as you notice, when we buy orchids in the stores or wherever we buy our orchids, they don't come with the old spikes on. They're trying to grow them to the best that they can so that we'll want to buy them. So, here we go. Number 2, because it has a new spike, and really there's 1, 2, 3 beautiful flowers there. And what we're going to do, and I'll just go reheat this quickly, because even though both plants are healthy, I do not want to cut with the same scissors. So I'm heating it over the gas stove, and I'm going to let it cool a bit because, well, I could be cauterizing it. It's pretty hot. So I'm going to cut a good inch, probably a good ½ an inch above the last node before the base, because the last node is very close. So I'm going to go about ½ an inch above that last node. Okay. I usually cut on a slant. It's still beautiful though. Yeah, still beautiful. And there's a node that it had branched out of, and there's where my old cut was. So I will put this in a vase after, and I've got some water in this little dish, so I'm just going to cut it off and lay it here so that I can put it in a vase, and it's in some water. And I could actually even do that with this one. And I'll get a nice little display when I'm finished here. And then, oh, I did bring a Q-tip. Good girl. I'm going to put a bit of cinnamon on that. There we go. Don't use a ton and let it fall on the roots, because what it does, that cinnamon dries, and it will dry up your roots, and you don't want that. So no cinnamon on the roots. So now this plant, it's just going to go from flowering last year's spike, that was it, and another spike coming. I hope it takes its time growing. So it is healthy in here, and the leaves are all healthy. So I'm going to put it back in the window. I'm just gonna let it do good. Now, watering day, I have to be careful because the traffic cones, maybe we'll talk about the traffic cones next. Let's talk about this one. Now, I could put it up there, but it'll be too high. Maybe if I bring this chair over like this. It might work. Okay, now this orchid here in this traffic cone. There we go. Put that there. Okay. Okay, this orchid here is very healthy. Its leaves are healthy, its roots seem healthy, and maybe not today, but another day I should check the roots, because I cannot figure why it has such healthy leaves, and yet it grew this spike that has only one flower. I am not going to let that stay. This is telling me something. Now, it's been under the same conditions as the other orchids, and I'm going to check the roots on it. So, one of the next videos, I'll take this out of this traffic cone. And what happens with the traffic cones, I'm going to show you. I don't know, we don't have a real open shower. Our showers are very awkward. I end up nicking the leaves or knocking the flowers off, trying to get it in the showers. They're easy other than that, and I think Jack needs a new shower, but you know, with this crazy world, we got 2 bags of groceries today. They're little, they're like a box, but they're a bag that folds up. We had 2, over $300, $320-something. No meat. There was one thing of sandwich meat. That's it. I mean, prices are just skyrocketing. In fact, I had bought, a couple of weeks ago, I bought 2 little Cornish hens. And I bought the last ones on the shelf. Today, I see they'd filled the shelf. They're frozen. They come in from somewhere. They had gone up over $6. That is what's going on. Anyway, we'll be enjoying our homes, the yard, planting soils, enjoying spring, and avoiding everything that's going on, because you know what? I don't hate anybody for it. I mean, I don't like some things. But I don't hate anybody for it, and I think it'll all settle down the way it's supposed to in the end, as long as the election goes right. Okay, that's enough of that. So, here we are with another one that needs cut off. Now, I have to put it down, I have to go heat this again. I should have one of those little guns. And I don't know if I trust myself with it. Okay. They're really healthy. I don't think I'll be transferring any diseases, but then I don't want to encourage anything. So like I say, it's a healthy plant, but why did it send up a beautiful spike with one little bulb on the end? It's not worth keeping. So I thought, well, if I'm going to show me doing one and explaining why, I might as well do all the ones I think need done. So this one has a little node right close to the base of the plant. So I'm going to actually go quite close to the bottom of the second node on an angle, and I'm taking it off. I want this plant to get its energy full. I don't want, this is what you look for. And if you can't see any reason on the outside of the plant, then it might be telling you to look inside the plant. So I have a plan. I love my traffic cones, and the orchids do really well in them, but I notice I'm having a lot more difficulty with them, so I'm not sure. I may surprise some people when I do repot it, and we'll see how that goes on that day. So we're going to put some cinnamon on it, like that. And I'll be putting it back in the other room. It's been in a west window on the floor. And it looks very healthy. And then, just move this chair back over here. Okay. Now, the last one I've got. Now this one, let me see if I can really get this. Let me just move the camera a tiny bit here. See if I can get this a little bit better. Okay. I will go down. There we go. Okay. That sure looks better. So what I've got here is this orchid. Oh, and you can see, because it's so big, it had 2 spikes going this way and this way, all these leaves, and I keep chewing off a leaf, hitting the shower door, trying to get it in the little hole. Poor thing, I did it twice in the same spot. And this is such a, oh my goodness, I see another spike coming. When I finish this one, I'm going to show you. I see another spike coming on this orchid. It is very happy. Oh my goodness. But this spike here was in full bloom. It did really well. This one, when I went in the shower, I broke this off on Wednesday. So this spike, because I see a new spike going, I'm not going to just trim this back and let it flower. So what I'm going to do is trim them both back. So I'm not worried. I am going to just cut high enough and put cinnamon on it that there won't be a problem with this one. But I'm cutting high above the node, way up, probably 4 inches. And we're going to take this one off. Okay. Wait till you see this. So, this here and this can come off probably. These make great spikes for plants outside. I think they use them for markers of people's property or outside. They're very strong. So let's move those there. Now we got the plant, and we'll take this other one off, and then I'm going to show you where the new spike's coming. I'm taking both off, and I'll put cinnamon on them. Okay. Some on that one, and some on that one. And I will give you a bit of the view in the windows of a few things that you might be interested in. And here I have the orchid that I potted last video. I love it. In the light, this oncidium is so beautiful. Now there was a couple flowers that were quite purple and they've gone off, but I'm going to show you it is doing so well already. So I'm going to show you a close-up of this, and I'll give you a short tour. You can see what I'm tripping over everywhere. Okay, let's see if we can undo this. Okay. Oh, there it is. Okay, let me get a good grip without touching any buttons I shouldn't. So, this orchid has beautiful roots, and it had these 2 spikes, and whoops, in here, I hope you can see, I got something weird happening, right in here I see a spike coming. So, and there's where I hit it twice trying to get in the shower, and there from the shower door, and that was a perfectly healthy leaf. So I'm leaving it in here. They love the traffic cones. Now, if I had a big bathroom, I'd have a big shower. But there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, approximately 14 leaves on that one. Here's the Insidium I got. I'm so happy. It looks so beautiful in the light. And it's been in flower a long time, and some are drying. And I also love the leaves. I'm starting to like Oncidiums. So, and here, this is the fallout, and I'm going to put them in a vase. And this is one of the orchids off this west window. I'm leaving them on. They seem happy, and I have seen some good root growth in there. So that one's doing good. And behind me, I have new growth coming on this Oncidium here, and down in here, I have new growth, so that's good. And in here, there is some coming way down in here. So they seem to have established quite well. And this one's still in pretty good bloom. These are 2 in one traffic cone. So, and these are the ones we just finished doing. The one I'm going to check because I couldn't understand why it behaved like that. And let's just slowly turn around. And now this is Georgia Pearl. She is beautiful. So dark. On watering day, I just admire her beauty. And another one ready to open. She's very happy. And some minis over here. And up here. So we're doing good here. And of course this, my oldest one, I'm not sure what I'm doing with it, if I'm putting it in another vase, but it has sent off a whole more, and it's very, very happy. And it's old, it almost died. I kept trying and trying, and it had a huge monopodial root system, and it had been cut off when I put it in that pot. So now, over here. Now, this basket was on a glass thing that broke. I picked that up, everything went. Wasn't a good thing. But the basket, I put all those flowers that weren't doing well, and they seem happy in there, even though it's nothing but air from dryness. And so, and here's the last one I got that actually came in bark. I was very happy. So it's happy. And a yellow one. And up here, the little babies, this one's got another little flower coming. And it looks like this one does too. So those are doing good. And don't look at my messes. My goodness, I can get in a mess. We'll go look in the other window though. This is where I took the traffic cones from. So in here, I decided to leave this one. It is sending off some new, but it just had 2 flowers. And it's in a traffic cone, but it's healthy. And this little one has a nice new leaf coming. I'm very happy to see. And a little one here. Yeah. Shariana baby. Yes, you got 3 leaves. Seems happy. And this one is, it's a shape of a traffic cone, but it's actually clay. And it's happy. The leaves are all good. So that one's good. And I took my other orchids out of here. A nice yellow one. These are all doing good. Now this traffic cone, of course, it had fell. And this is the basil growing, a basil keiki growing from the original plant. These leaves are the original plant, and you can see it broken there. So I didn't let this one grow a spike, even though it tried on the other mother plant, because I want the keiki to be very strong and healthy. So, and over here, there's, I think I got some flowers coming on my cactus. Not yet, but soon. And up here, there's lots of new shoots on the dendrobium. And roots growth too, if you can see in there. So, everybody, have a wonderful day. And I'm always happy to join you and have your comments. So, come and visit in the comment section. Tell me what you're up to. Bye for now.